Good evening, everyone. We wanted to give you a heads up. We're going to begin the program with a video. The first minutes contain images from October 7th. They're both graphic and difficult to view. Please close your eyes or turn your head if you need to until you hear Danielle's voice.
As dawn broke, the unimaginable happened.
It was around 6:30 a.m. I was in the tent, I was resting. We were in a festival that we were waiting for so long. We started hearing what we thought was fireworks. When I looked up in the sky, I saw hundreds of rockets above me. That's when I started panicking. We found a shelter, which was a small cement box with no door, and around 30, 40 people inside. My friend texted me, "They're coming, get out of there." Next thing I know, they're throwing 5 grenades inside, and all I hear around me is people suffocating, people on top of another, and a lot of shots from within. And I fought for my life for 3.5 hours. I had one question, and it was, why do I deserve to suffocate until I die?
In the face of such horror, our community mobilized.
Our capacity to respond is a testament to the infrastructure we've built in collaboration with you, local and global partners, both within and beyond our Jewish community.
This is a time when leadership at all levels of government need to stand up for values of humanity and against these inexcusable acts against humanity.
Leaders from all sectors stepped up, calling for unity and humanity.
Let us cry out together, never again.
Over 2,000 community members, leaders, and officials stood together.
The entire community of Cincinnati stands with you and stands with Israel. It's our responsibility here and around the world to state unequivocally that it is inexcusable.
Because of your support of the annual campaign, we are able to and have been able to respond on a moment's notice to what happened in Israel on October 7th.
After October 7th, the Federation system led a monumental relief effort, deploying millions. In 6 months, we have raised close to $1 billion for life-saving equipment, economic aid, and mental health support.
84% of children are experiencing emotional distress, and 62% of children are suffering from anxiety.
The Habuki doll symbolizes our innovative trauma care to mental health, providing comfort and recovery. Beyond immediate shelter and support, we provided critical financial assistance.
Every single Israeli victim of terror gets an immediate visit from the Jewish Agency, as well as over 3,000 shekels as an initial payment. This is not a gift from the Jewish Agency. This is from Jews around the world.
The conflict in Israel echoed here, with anti-Semitism reaching alarming levels.
Anti-Semitic incidents are at an all-time high, according to a new report released by the Anti-Defamation League.
2023 is beyond unprecedented.
On St. Patrick's Day weekend, tri-state residents woke up to see this banner hanging over Columbia Parkway. Others wake up to this swastika hanging in the yard of a Coleraine Township home.
To safeguard our community, we engaged City Council, convened school administrators, hosted workshops, and strengthened law enforcement ties.
We all want to see a meaningful end that enables innocent civilians to thrive and be safe from future violence.
Today at Washington Park, the Jewish Federation set up a Shabbat table with 240 empty seats representing the 240 lives that hang in the balance as Israel wages war on Hamas.
Because if there was ever a moment that we cannot sit on the sidelines, it is now.
The Jewish people have always been the most resilient people because in times of crisis we manage to keep an eye on the horizon to a time in the future when it will be bright again.
In this darkness, there is hope to be found. We may come from different places and may express Jewishness in different ways, but we are unified in our vision to build a flourishing, diverse Jewish community
Let's keep following the values of Tikkun Olam, Klal Yisrael, and Tzedakah, and to ensure that our community is strong, united, and thriving at home, in Israel, and around the world. Thank you for all that you do.
These are painful times. Before we begin, we want to take a moment to acknowledge the 1,200 people who were murdered on Israeli soil and the thousands who were injured on October 7th. Please join me in a moment of silence for all in the region who are killed or continue to suffer in this war. Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Jewish Federation's 128th annual meeting. My name is Josh Blatt. I'm chair of the board for the Jewish Federation. We meet tonight in a much different world than we were in just 365 days ago. In this short time period, we've experienced the horror of the October 7th attack on Israel, killing over 1,200 people, wounding thousands, and witnessed the taking of hundreds of hostages, with over 100 still in captivity. At home, we've experienced an unprecedented rise in anti-Semitism. And as we speak, we are witnessing protests challenging Israel's legitimacy at campuses across our country, from small community colleges to what are recognized as the finest universities in the world. Jewish college students are harassed in environments that are supposed to be safe spaces. This is a seminal moment in the Jewish experience in the United States and around the world. Indeed, we have so much to talk about tonight. Danielle Minson, our CEO, will share with you details about the Federation's response, accomplishments, and plans for the future. David Harris and Sherry Simpson will share details about our fundraising and its impact. We will install our new board, and we'll conclude by honoring 3 really amazing award winners. But first, as I said, we're in troubling times. For everyone my age, we've only known a world where Israel is strong, invincible. She is startup nation. Yeah, we might have experienced incidents of anti-Semitism, but we never felt insecure about our place in the fabric of American society. October 7th shattered these illusions. Israel has now been attacked on her own soil, with terrorists killing the most Jews in one day since the Holocaust. Israel is now threatened on her northern border. Anti-Semitism has increased in the U.S. by over 300% since October 7th. That's right, by 300%. I would imagine everyone in this room has personally experienced some fragment of anti-Semitism and felt vulnerable in their Jewish identity. It's a somber moment, and sadly, it's not over. While each and every one of us pray for peace, the war in Gaza is ongoing. Iran continues to instigate, hostages remain in captivity, and college campus protests continue to dominate our headlines. The relative calm we experienced here and the strength of Israel has allowed us to openly explore our differences. As Jews, debate is fundamental to our values. We must continue to debate and ask hard questions. But tonight, I challenge, we must not let the debate divide us in ways that undermine our ability to come together in common purpose to address these historic challenges. My rabbi at Adath Israel, Rabbi Smolkin, with eerie foresight, used his Yom Kippur sermon to warn of the dangers of anti-Semitism. In the sermon, he described anti-Semitism from both the right and from the left. From the right, it was a hurricane, a heart attack, abrupt, forceful, immediate, deadly. From the left, he described it as global warming, a cancer, silent, corrosive, stealthy, also deadly. Anti-Semitism is threatening our way of life and is undermining Israel as a legitimate nation. Further, anti-Semitism and all forms of hate threaten our safety and undermine our ability as well as that of other minorities, to be full citizens of this country. We must set aside our political differences and trivial slights. These are historic times, and they must be met with unity and strength. As Jews, we may disagree with each other about Israel, the politics, settlements, or yes, how to achieve peace in the region. However, we cannot let these disagreements undermine the legitimacy of Israel as a Jewish state. We must stand united in our support of the Israeli people and Israel's right to exist. But it's not all bad news. While we have a sense of great unease, I do believe there's much to be hopeful about. In the aftermath of October 7th, we witnessed unprecedented support from most of the world, from Americans here at home and from our political leaders. While the college campus protests dominate the news cycles, Americans overwhelmingly are appalled by what they're seeing. Personally, I've been touched by many non-Jewish friends who have reached out to check in, ask what they can do, or ask if I can help them better understand. I hope everyone here has had a similar experience. Our Federation community is strong, and we've done big things before, and we will meet this challenge. We were there for the Jews after the Holocaust. We were there for the Jews in the former Soviet Union, and we were there for the Jews in Ethiopia. Right now, we are there for the Jews in Ukraine. We've enabled Jews to thrive in their countries of origin, and we've helped Jews worldwide make Aliyah, helping those fleeing persecution. Within days of October 7th, the leading Jewish organizations convened in Washington to demonstrate absolute unity in meeting the needs of the Israeli people. The Federation has been there to meet these challenges for 128 years, and we will not stop. Individually, you and the American Jewish population rose up politically and financially, nationwide donating almost $1 billion to meet the emergency needs in Israel. 4.6 million in Cincinnati alone. We have more on that to come later tonight. We have the power to combat anti-Semitism and meet the needs on the ground in Israel. Individually, we also have the power to make a difference. Your voice matters. I encourage you to reach out to your non-Jewish friends and family. Educate them about what anti-Semitism looks like. Educate them about Israel and about how you feel as a Jew today. And also listen to them. It may give you hope as you deepen your friendships and family connections. If you need tools to help you navigate these conversations, please reach out. We have tremendous power when we act together, and together we will come through these troubling times. Thank you. Before turning the program over to Danielle, I'd like to take a moment to thank all the volunteers in our community, as well as the Jewish professionals. This has been a difficult year to be an active participant in the Jewish community. I'm so proud of how you have met these times, and our community thanks you. I'd like to thank the leadership at PNC Bank, sponsors of this event. Warren Weber, president of PNC, thank you so much for your ongoing partnership and support of our community. Please stand so we may recognize you and your team. We'd like to thank the elected officials who are here tonight. State House Representatives Donnie Isaacson and Jody Whitted, and State Senator Catherine Ingram. I would also like to thank our partners at the Jewish Foundation of Cincinnati, Walter Solomon, board chair, and Brian Jaffe, CEO, their trustees, and their entire team. The Foundation's investment and support has been bedrock for our community. Thank you all. And now, Danielle Minson, our CEO, will share specifics of our impact.
Thank you, Josh. That was heavy, so I'm going to try to lift us up a little bit. So hello and welcome. It is so good to be with you this evening, and it feels so good to be together in community. This has been a year full of challenges, as Josh said. From the news on October 7th, to the unimaginable atrocities that day, to the troubling rise of anti-Semitism, it has been a roller coaster. Thanks to your support, the Federation has met each challenge head on. 3 days after October 7th, we organized a solidarity gathering uniting over 2,000 of us in a powerful display of support for Israel. Over 500 of us went to the March for Israel in Washington, D.C., where our vibrant sea of neon yellow t-shirts shouted our support. You could not miss us. More than 1,000 showed up at the empty Shabbat table in Washington Park, a public reminder of the hostages still being held in Gaza. We brought 175 community members to Cincinnati City Hall to speak up for peace. These moments of public advocacy matter. They're a testament to what we can achieve when we stand together. And we have done so much more. The Federation acts. 128 years ago, the Federation was created to act. And this year, we say with a deeper urgency, we will not be victims. Since the Holocaust, we have said these words. The opposite of victimhood is action. So the Federation acts to support the Jewish community of Cincinnati. So tonight, I want to share with you some of our biggest accomplishments over the past year. Every year, our fundraising is an enormous part of what we do. This year, we had to sharply pivot and mobilize our resources to address the new needs. We did it. Our fundraising totals have increased by 50% compared to last year. In addition to significant fundraising for Israel, we've raised an unprecedented amount to address the need for increased local security. These high amounts could not have been achieved without the hard work of our dedicated lay leaders and our Federation team. Thank you. Protecting our Jewish community is fundamental. Because of the war and increased anti-Semitism, community security has become a larger focus for us. In collaboration with law enforcement, who you see here this evening, and Jewish organizations, we are improving our collective security. We've instituted extensive security measures, and what I can share is that we are being extremely proactive. We're increasing security at our events and agencies and our congregations, and we're advancing into new territories with a cybersecurity initiative and upgrades to our physical surveillance technology. And because there's still more to do, we continue to seek funding for security. We've also fought the increase of anti-Semitism in our efforts to meet the increased need. Education has always been key to the fight against anti-Semitism. Together with our Jewish Community Relations Council, we've had hundreds of conversations with elected officials, school administrators, university leaders on this topic. To support our educational efforts, we launched a new speaker series called After October 7th. We've also stepped up with our public-facing advocacy. We continue to advocate in the political realm here in Cincinnati, in Columbus, and nationally. For example, because of TikTok's high rate of anti-Semitism, we advocated for the legislation that recently passed, forcing either a ban or American ownership of TikTok. We also fight anti-Semitism through community leadership development. Our cutting-edge Cohen Family Leaders in Light Institute is a prime example. In its second cohort, it brings together diverse community members to educate on anti-Semitism and inclusive democracy. The Federation also plans for our community. We use as a guide the community's vision for our future called Cincinnati 2030. Our vision is to create a community that is safe, connected, and where everyone feels a profound sense of belonging. In partnership with the Foundation and Jewish Home, our extensive planning this year has been focused on teen and young adult mental health, aging services, young families, and professional development. Also in our role as convener and in collaboration with the Mayerson JCC, we launched JLive, your go-to online source for Jewish community events in Cincinnati, and you'll see the table out front with balloons that you can register afterwards. This is one of the examples of one of my favorite things, collaboration in action. We're also committed to long-term support for younger generations, addressing challenges like social isolation and anti-Semitism. In partnership with Foundation, we are significantly increasing funding for mental health initiatives through Jewish Family Service and others. We are also very proud of our contributions to the city of Cincinnati. In connection with the recent Jewish Cincinnati bicentennial, a cross-section of Jewish and civic leaders wanted to create something beautiful to remind everyone of our Jewish contributions to this city. This mock-up, which is the actual artist drawing, was created in collaboration with Artworks. It's going to be gorgeous. And the murals behind us, we're going to start painting in June. We're starting painting in June. We are also committed to deepening our connections to Israel. And as you know, in response to the crisis, we had to cancel our planned community mission to Israel that was scheduled for this summer. We're excited to announce, in partnership with Foundation, a new community mission to Israel next summer. We know the uncertainty and challenges here, and as we plan, your feedback will be crucial to help guide us. As many of you know, I gained so much during a year I spent in Israel after college. It anchored me and shaped me and my career moving forward, and I absolutely loved it. So with this special fondness that I appreciate a 25-year-old program envisioned by the Foundation. Our Cincy Journeys grant program has funded Jewish overnight camps and trips to Israel for teens and young adults, strengthening their Jewish identity and well-being. For 25 years, Cincinnati has led the nation. We've sent more Jewish youth per capita on these Israel travel programs than any other Jewish community in North America. And Mazel Tov to the Jewish Foundation for this amazing, amazing gift to our Jewish teens in our community. It's beautiful. So as you can see, we've been very busy, and the state of our organization and the state of our community is strong. So at this point, I would typically speak about our future. Here's the challenge. The crisis is not yet over. The future is really hard to see. It always is, but even more so now. Despite the fog, I want you to know that we will continue to plan, pivot, and move forward with agility and with care. I do want to speak about the future of our kids. The news has been full of protests on college campuses. Many Jewish students and their parents are frightened. The Federation values freedom of speech, and we also value safety. Both are vital for a healthy democracy. I want you to know that we're following these issues closely and supporting our Hillels and Chabad centers at Miami and in Cincinnati. I am immensely proud of all of our Jewish students, and while, like their parents, they may not always agree with each other, they are incredibly resilient and proudly Jewish. What happened on October 7th and what is happening now inside of Gaza is heartbreaking. The Federation is committed to dialogue with Jews of every viewpoint. Our commitment to inclusion means all voices deserve to be heard. When I was a freshman at undergrad at The Ohio State University, I spoke up against the hatred of Jews I experienced right there on my dorm, on my floor in my dorm. It was a very painful time. In the end, I had to go to a trial against a neo-Nazi skinhead. It was decided that he be kicked off campus. So I won in a way, but I felt very alone at the time. I was the only one who spoke up against the anti-Semitism that I experienced. And I've been remembering that a lot lately. I don't want our children to feel like I did, isolated in their Jewishness. What is also true is that I spoke up without hesitation. My parents and this Jewish community had reinforced my pride in my Jewish identity. A shocking 992 anti-Semitic acts took place on college and university campuses just this past year. So tonight, I want our young people to know that the Jewish community will continue to support them. You are not alone. So one last story I want to share. It's about a little girl, a 6th grader, who was supported. She inspires me. I was talking to her mom last week, and she told me that the ongoing anti-Semitism her daughter was experiencing at school had recently gotten much worse. There was a swastika video circulating in her social media group. Then came the day that her teacher at a Cincinnati public school called her out for being Jewish on the very day that they were learning about the Palestinians. She came home that night, and as you can imagine, what she was feeling. What were her parents feeling? Really, as Josh said at the beginning, everything has changed since October 7th. What struck me most is the easy sharing of one of the most awful symbols of hate. What is also so alarming is that this is the first time many of our young people have experienced such overt, such casual, ongoing anti-Semitism. It's very painful, and it's raw. So this girl came home and immediately said to her mother, "Mom, where's my Magen David? I want to wear it to school tomorrow." This sweet 12-year-old girl wants to wear her Star of David to school the very next day. It makes me emotional. She wants to show she is proudly Jewish. That is real bravery, stemming from a proud Jewish identity. Some might guess it comes because she has a great family, or she's gone to Jewish overnight camp, or a Jewish day school, or her family's a member of one of our congregations, temples, or synagogues. She might have known, since her mom does, that there are organizations around to help, from AJC to our JCRC and the Nancy and David Wolf Holocaust and Humanity Center. But to me, today, her bravery and her courage, it comes from all of us. If it takes a village to raise a child, know that each of you here are a part of that village. We all have a hand in raising her. This photo is on my desk at work. A friend of mine recently gave it to me, and I love it. It's got so many different meanings for me. It's a statue of a little girl staring down the wall, the Wall Street Bull, like this, right? Powerful. I want you to imagine each of us here in this room with us surrounding her, helping her stand tall, helping her be proud of her Star of David. It takes all of us. All of us here have also had hands behind us, supporting us, and lifting us. Our history guides us through these turbulent times. What I want us to remember is this: we've been here before, and we've fought through it. This year has been very painful, but if history teaches us anything, it's that we are a courageous people. We will endure. We will eventually conquer the bulls and the bullies who are our neighbors and our neighbors' kids. And in fact, most of our neighbors and our neighbors' kids are not filled with hate or ignorance, but rather filled with respect and love for us. So despite this year, I am optimistic. If a 12-year-old girl can be that brave, so can we. Thank you. So thank you for walking this path with us. Together, we refuse to be victims. We are resilient, we are courageous, and we will continue to act. So I, too, would like to add my thanks to Walter Solomon and Brian Jaffe from the Foundation. We work in true collaboration and partnership, and we make each other better. Thank you. I would also like to take a minute to thank my colleagues at the Jewish Federation. I know this year has been very challenging. I am proud to work alongside each and every one of you, and I want to thank you for tirelessly going where needed, in calm as well as in crisis. Something you may not know is that our community contains over 600 individuals who work for local Jewish organizations. These are the leaders that are on the front lines and have been keeping our community going and keeping our community healthy before October 7th and after. And I would like to take a moment to recognize all Jewish professionals working in the Jewish community right now. If you please will stand, and my colleagues at the Federation, so we can all thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, our federation operates with a both-and mindset. We've been spending a lot of our time responding to the war and moving our community forward. So here's a video that shares a little bit more about that.
Both and. That's what it takes to further our mission, to make a difference, to foster unity, health, vitality, both in our unwavering commitment to a flourishing Jewish community and in our drive to build a resilient network of partnerships. Our accomplishments over the past year have focused on 6 priorities: planning and partnerships, philanthropic growth, advocacy and dialogue, safety and security, convening and mobilizing, connecting and engaging, both to mark the progress we've made and to support the work that awaits. Through planning and partnerships, we are keeping our goals in sight and recruiting talented people to move them forward.
One of the most important things that the Federation does is community planning. Cincinnati 2030 was our community-wide strategic plan. The big goals of 2030 are very much part of the architecture of planning and allocation, so that we assure that all of the programs that we're funding are part of the strategic plan. The Federation's planning and allocations process is one of the most important and exciting opportunities for volunteers to get involved with the work of the Federation.
Talent management is certainly a part of Cincinnati 2030. We've got this beautiful vision. We're in the midst of creating a strategic plan. And in order to achieve that, we certainly need our volunteer boards and lay leaders, but also in order to accomplish it, we need talented professionals. And so it's critical. The best way for us to do that is to keep our talent here. There are over 600 professionals working in our Jewish community. So it's really important for the fabric and the culture of the Jewish community that we want to have here in Cincinnati.
Continued philanthropic growth requires continued funding, which has underscored our significant contributions to critical needs, as well as our robust annual campaign.
I'm really proud of our fundraising efforts this year because we had such an enormous task ahead of us with the Israel Emergency Fund and the annual campaign running concurrently. To be able to do that required individuals to step up probably more than they ever have in the past or in recent years, and our community did that, and it was a result of 50% more giving from individuals in our community than in years past to reach that goal.
As we raised money, we also raised our voice and played an active role in community relations to bridge differences and support meaningful legislation.
It has been challenging, enriching, thought-provoking, at times emotional. The fact that the cohort and our discussions started before the tragedy of October 7th and then carried on afterwards, and the way that shaped both the discussion but the connection that the group had, the speakers and educators that they've brought in that have pushed us to really think differently about our own way that we confront these things and speaking out, and what role silence plays in all of this has been incredibly powerful. And that could not take place if this were all, sort of a homogenous group.
To stay resilient, we need to remain vigilant, which is why we made significant improvements to safeguard the Cincinnati Jewish community.
Safe Cincinnati is really a gift to Jewish organizations in Cincinnati. It's the security arm of the Federation, and as such, it's available to all the Jewish organizations in Cincinnati. It provides us with not only the funding that we need to do things, it provides us with the guidance and the knowledge of how best to deal with hardening the buildings to make them secure, how to deal with getting personnel when you can't get it, active shooter training, and providing funding to do a lot of those things.
As events around the world unfolded, we demonstrated our ability to rapidly and effectively respond to multiple crises, both in our community and abroad.
after October 7th, a lot of our focus is on anti-Semitism because anti-Semitism has increased dramatically. We went from maybe 1 incidence of anti-Semitism per week to about 1 incidence of anti-Semitism per day. We worked with City Council, and I feel like our credibility paid dividends when it came time to deal with these issues of anti-Semitism in City Council Hall. That program was a nice, what I like to call a hug from, for the community, because even though you felt alone and even though you were grieving, and I think our whole community was grieving, we're still grieving because we still have hostages that are being held.
Right after October 7th, it was really tough for a lot of Jewish students, but I was super grateful to have Hillel as that space, as that safe space to be, and to be surrounded by people who get it, who understand. A few weeks before winter break, our Hillel executive director, Rachel Kaplan, she came up to us and was like, hey, we might be able to offer this free Israel trip for college students to go volunteer who would be interested. And I knew immediately that that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be back there to help in any way that I could. It was still full of life and full of hope, which was really impactful to see, and honestly made me just more connected to Israel and to my Judaism.
And with the world's focus on Israel, we expanded our global outreach, reinforcing our commitment to an interconnected and engaged Jewish community.
JLive is the go-to source for Jewish community events for all ages. It's really meant to be a platform for different organizers of events to post their events, but also have a hub for folks to find out what events are happening in the community.
Here in Cincinnati, we wanted to do something tangible with the money we've raised through our Israel Emergency Campaign. The idea is no community is going to be left behind. During Passover, each community member received a bottle of wine with a card from Cincinnati and Columbus, as well as a special Haggadah that this Communities Together program had put together for all the communities that have been evacuated. The community put a video together for us. They had young kids thanking Cincinnati and Columbus for this very special gift at Passover. I can't tell you how heartwarming it was to see something in their hands that came from our community.
Together, we have shown our strength, both through our unwavering commitment and our steadfast resilience.
Both and.
Both and.
Both and. Both and.
Both and.
Both and.
Both and.
Both and.
While this past year was full of accomplishments, we are poised to achieve so much more. For the current challenges that await us, as well as the new challenges that arise, both for our community and for Israel as one.
I'm so pleased to be up here with you, Sherry, and I'm beyond proud of our fundraising this past year. It's important every year, but this year it has been absolutely essential. Thank you to each and every one of our donors. I want to give a big shout out to our campaign chair, Bobby Fisher, and our campaign leadership this year. So much impact, so much good has come of all the work that you have done. Thank you, Bobby, and everyone. We're going to tell you first about the fundraising for Israel. It's part of Federation's work to support the people of Israel every year. And in this year of crisis and incredible need, we have met that challenge. Because of October 7th, we launched a separate fund, the Israel Emergency Fund. And through your generosity to this fund, Cincinnati has raised $4.6 million to support those in need in Israel after October 7th. It is absolutely extraordinary. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The 146 organizations that make up the National Federation system has raised close to $1 billion, as you heard earlier. This is also just absolutely incredible. You all gave to help children who were orphaned on October 7th. You gave to emergency responders. You gave to those who were evacuated from the Gaza envelope and from Israel's northern border. You gave to mental health, counseling for adults and children, and you gave to help rebuild kibbutzim. Over $400 million of emergency relief has already been allocated. We are also honored by our connections. We sent packages of care to our shlichim and to our chaverim that have been here as a part of our community. We helped the Israeli chefs who came to Cincinnati to help us celebrate Israel at 75 by providing funding for them to prepare meals for over 1,000 IDF soldiers. Part of the Israel Emergency Fund allocations went for emergency, immediate needs. And in addition, we've directed a portion of those funds to help support Kibbutz Karmia, as Karen shared in the video that we just watched. Please stop by the balloon-marked tables in the gallery to write a note to its residents. It would really mean a lot to them. We are participating in a new program called Communities Together, run by the Jewish Agency for Israel. In partnership with the Columbus Federation, we will support Kibbutz Karmia for the next 3 years. Kibbutz Karmia is in the western Negev. It's close to the Gaza Strip. It's a small kibbutz with only about 650 members. Karen Goodman, our Vice President of Israel and Overseas, and Felicia Zakam, our Chief Planning Officer, have really been working overtime on this. And I want to acknowledge the important work that Karen and Felicia have done. Thank you, Karen and Felicia. Karen teared up when she was telling me about the people from Kibbutz Karmia that she met on a video call. They lost their homes, they lost their work, and they have lost people who were very close to them. One of the mothers talked about protecting her kids, about survivor's guilt, about the loss of trust in just about everything. Their head of security, a software engineer by day, talked with her with a rifle slung over his shoulder. With a handful of others, he stayed at the kibbutz to take care of things while everyone else has been living in hotels. He broke down in tears, telling how his son in the IDF had lost 6 friends in 3 days. It's an important symbol of Jewish resilience, the fact that Kibbutz Karmia wants to heal and it wants to rebuild. We have promised to help make that happen. To start, we're bringing 9 of their kids to Camp Livingston this summer. As you heard, we also sent every family on the kibbutz a care package for Passover. You will be part of helping this kibbutz get back to its green land, to its organic farm, and its warm community. It is through donations that you bring hope to Jewish people everywhere.
David talked about some of the impact our local community has been able to have in Israel. I'd like to now share a little bit about the impact our community has had on me and my family here in Cincinnati. My husband and I are both from Los Angeles and moved to Cincinnati in 2003. I came here to work for P&G, and we both thought, we'll be here for a few years, and then I'll go back home. 21 years later, Cincinnati is home, and it's in large part because of our incredible Jewish community. My daughters went to the J for preschool and camp, are proud Rockwarn alums, and are frequent participants on the Bima at Adath Israel. This community strengthened my own connection to our faith and our people, and I am so grateful for what it has done to help my kids form their own strong Jewish identities. Now more than ever, our kids need that strength. Unfortunately, they've both encountered anti-Semitism at Walnut Hills High School, a school they love. And in both cases, the Federation's JCRC has been there when we needed it, helping my daughters figure out how to navigate difficult conversations about Israel and pushing the school's administration to address anti-Semitism. This fall, my firstborn is going off to college, and I'm definitely nervous about what she will encounter. But I know, even from afar, the Jewish community has her back. She'll carry the strength of the Cincinnati Jewish community, guided by the Federation and supported by all of you in this room with her. My friends know that I'm a math person, so on to the numbers. As the slide behind me shows, this year we have been able to raise over $15.4 million in total giving. You stepped up. Thank you so much. This is truly an amazing accomplishment, and we did it together. Here in Cincinnati, we will use these funds to support our local partner agencies to further strengthen our vibrant and inclusive community and drive real change. A big thank you to Dawn Schuler, our volunteer chair of the Federation's Planning and Allocations Committee. We appreciate the hard work you and all of our many P&A volunteers put in to make this a successful year. Congratulations. For the last decade, through the Create Your Jewish Legacy program, you have committed over $177 million in planned gifts for local Jewish organizations, of which $16.7 million has already been directed to local agencies. This impressive achievement is already changing our community. Thank you to our planned giving and endowment team and all the Create Your Jewish Legacy teams.
And Sherry, thank you for your leadership. And thank you to everybody in this room for your generosity and your compassionate support. Your gift and your volunteerism truly matter. It's because of you and your support that we have a robust community. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now Josh will come back up with the board update.
Great job. Thank you, David and Sherry. How about a round of applause for David and Sherry and the entire development team? Really amazing work, everybody. I want to start with a huge thank you to the Federation's board and executive committee. Now I'd like to begin recognizing our living past presidents. And one of my favorite people is up on the board behind me, who's sitting also in the front row, is my dad. So please, for the rest of you, please stand so that everybody else can recognize you. I'd also like to give a special thanks to the board members who have completed their service. Behind me are the names of the outgoing board members. It's been a pleasure to serve alongside of you. Sharon Brammy, Elliot Drasnin, Louis Goldner, Laura Isikoff, Alita Kamine, Jim Salters, Sherry Schulhoff, Abby Schwartz, Sam Schaefer, and Eliana Rantz. Thank you all. I'm also now pleased to welcome our new board members. You can see their faces on the slide behind me as well. They're Eitan Crystal, Valley Freeman, Lauren Gutman, Ronan Isikoff taking his wife's place, Tracy Duran, Jeremy Kander, Danny Lipson, Mark Sass, Sari Small, Brian Sugarman, and Elisa Zell. One more slide. And here's the slate of the 24-25 Federation Board Trustees and Executive Committee who were elected at our April 9th board meeting. I'm pleased to welcome our new board members. Welcome, Mazel Tov. I'd also like to thank the 2024 Nominating Committee who recruited this great group of incoming board members. Now, this is my final year as chair of the board, so I am thrilled to announce that Sherry Simpson is board chair-elect and will follow me to lead the board in May of 2025. So I've got to talk about Sherry for a minute. It's tough because we've been friends for a long time. But just to give you a sense of why, I believe this announcement is great news for both our Federation and for our community. I've known Sherry since our kids were at Rockland together. Our kids grew up side by side. Sherry, Adam, Chris, and I have all been friends since in together at many Rockland events starting 15 years ago, and our kids are graduating now, which is crazy. We went to Israel together on the 2016 community mission. We've also shared the same joyous journey of Jewish community involvement. But what I want to share with you today is what I believe makes Sherry the best next leader for our community. Sherry cares. She prioritizes caring, and she has all the gifts, experience, and the NBA intensity to move us forward. We're lucky to have her. Sherry, thanks for stepping up. So we're now to the best part of the meeting, which is we'll get to celebrate our award winners. Danielle will come up to give out the professional awards.
Okay, thank you, Josh, and congratulations to Sherry. So before I present the two professional awards, I want to, as we always do, recognize some of the professional transitions in our community. So a couple of things. First, we look forward this year to welcoming two new senior rabbis to our Jewish community. We will welcome Rabbi Lauren Werber, Beth Adam's new Rabbi Chief Executive. And we will also welcome Rabbi Neil Hirsch, who will serve as the new senior rabbi at Wise Temple. Next year, yes? We're excited to have them. Next year, we will honor the 2025 retirements of both Rabbi Robert Barr from Beth Adam and Rabbi Louis Kamrish from Wise Temple. I'm also pleased to share that we have a new agency executive to welcome to our community this year, Sue Suskin. Sue, welcome. Even though you arrived June 2023, you don't feel so new, but Sue is the executive director for Jewish Cemeteries of Greater Cincinnati. And Sue, congratulations and thank you. Yarden Ne'eman. Yarden has been our senior shaliach, our Israeli emissary, since August of 2021. Yarden came during COVID and had to acclimate to a new job and culture remotely. His wife Liat and young son Yiftach welcomed a new baby, Alon, while they were here in Cincinnati. Yarden has brought us many initiatives and has brought us closer to the Israelis living in Cincinnati. We know that this has been a very difficult year for Israelis living abroad, and we thank Yarden for your strength. Yarden is calm under pressure and passionate about creating people-to-people connections. His hallmarks are his charisma, his ability to communicate across cultural differences, and skill at bringing people together. Yarden, we thank you for all of your contributions to this community. Yarden, where are you? Are you here? There you are. Yarden, thank you. There will be an opportunity to say Lehitro to Yarden and Liat and their family, so more to come on that. I also want to thank our Chaverot, our friends from Israel. They will also both complete their year of service this August. And this year's Chaverot, Shaked Vatavu and Shiri Avasar, have both been incredible. We'll give them a woohoo for sure, Ann. Shiri and Shaked have visited 98 unique places, speaking with over 11,000 people this past year. Amazing. Their engagements have ranged from teaching weekly classes at Rockburn to Shalanu, to St. Thomas More Junior High and the senior class at St. Ursula Villa. I'm getting confused with Villa and Academy. Villa. And this summer, they will be counselors at Camp Livingston. They've truly made Cincinnati better. Thank you. Shiri and Shaked, will you stand so we can recognize you? Thank you. So now the award presentations. As many of you know, it's one of my favorite aspects of our annual meeting. We are lucky to have two of the three award winners and their families and friends here with us this evening. So our first award tonight is the Harris K. and Alice F. Weston Junior Avodah Award for Outstanding Jewish Communal Professionals. This award honors outstanding professionals in Jewish organizations who are starting their careers. Rachel Marchese has been a pillar of strength. Yes, I love that. Rachel Marchese has been a pillar of strength and inspiration in Cincinnati Jewish community. Rachel started at JVS Careers in March of 2021 in talent acquisition. It was clear early on that Rachel had strong leadership potential, and she was promoted to Director of Cincy Internships, supporting college students in obtaining scholarships, internships, and post-college employment. Rachel works very closely with Hillel and partnered with them to organize a trip for college students to volunteer to Israel to support those affected by the war. You heard Miriam speak about it earlier in the video. Rachel also is a recent graduate of our Monaco Jewish Nonprofit Leadership Institute. As CEO Joni Burton said, Rachel's dedication to serving students is truly inspiring. Her passion shines through in everything she does. Rachel, congratulations. If you'll please join me on the stage to receive your award.
I think we might need the house lights up just to see that. Fantastic. Rachel, mazel tov. You're welcome. So a quick photo? Yeah. Great. Mazel tov, Rachel. Our second award tonight is the Harris K. and Alice F. Weston Senior Avodah Award for Outstanding Jewish Communal Professionals. This award honors professionals in Jewish organizations who've already demonstrated substantial contributions to their organizations. Sally Schott has served for 9 years as the executive director for the Isaac M. Wise Temple. While managing the details required to keep a complex nonprofit running, Sally never loses sight of the larger purpose. She's a consummate professional. She inspires trust in others because she leads with a quiet confidence. She's become a leader by virtue of her character and her wisdom. She has the respect and admiration of Wise Temple leadership and our community locally and nationally. Sally also serves on our Safe Cincinnati Advisory Board and will continue to do so, and we're very pleased about that. This June, Sally will step back from her role, though she will stay on part-time to help with the professional transition at Wise Temple. Both Sally and Rabbi Kamros, unfortunately, are not available to be here this evening. They had previously scheduled trips, so they're not able to be here. But Gail Warm, I believe, is with us this evening. Yes, you are, Gail. Thank you. President of Wise Temple. Please join me, Gail. She's going to accept the award on behalf of Sally. Congratulations to Sally. Thanks, Gail.
Thank you.
Oh, one more, right? Yeah. Great. Thank you, Gail. So our final award this evening is our Volunteer of the Year award, and Josh Blatt is going to come up to introduce our recipient.
The Nancy and Robert V. Goldstein Volunteer of the Year Award recognizes volunteer leaders who have made a significant impact both within the Jewish Federation and the broader Jewish community. It was created in 1990 in memory of Bob Goldstein. This year, the winner is Nina Paul. Bear with me, there's a lot to say. Nina has long been a strong and committed lay leader for the Jewish Federation and our Jewish community. She's had multiple positions within Federation, including Major Gifts, Annual Campaign Chair in 2006 and 2008, and as a longtime major donor and legacy donor. She served on the JCRC board and recently chaired Partnership Together in Israel and overseas. She's hosted 2 Chaverim and many other visiting Israelis. Nina's been a member of the Rockland board and led Major Gifts for Rockland. She's chaired Hillel's Campus Superstar and is a past president of Adath Israel. Rabbi Smolkin of Adath Israel says Nina Paul has an incredible Jewish neshama and true giving spirit. She's an inspiration for our community. Nina is passionate about improving the lives of those with disabilities. She was a member of the JCC's Special Needs and Inclusion Committee and served on the Kesher Committee, a Mayerson Foundation initiative that supported individuals with disabilities. Nina is also a board member of Easter Seals. She's had many leadership roles within JNF, currently serves on their national board as JNF USA National Vice President of Campaign. Almost done. There's a lot. I told you there's a lot. Nina is well known for her passion, incredible fundraising skills, mentorship, and love of our community. We all know Nina's tagline is unity in community. It can't be more important than it is today. Nina, mazel tov.
Would you rather get podium? Hold on, we need a photo real quick, Nina. Yeah, let's do the photo quick and then you'll say a few things. Certainly. But this is yours.
Okay.
1 minute to speak, I had to write it down. I first want to thank the Jewish Federation for giving me this distinguished award and for all of those who nominated me and selected me to receive it. The reality is that when I moved from Los Angeles to Cincinnati in 1986, I needed to make friends and feel a part of a community. As it was, I discovered a love of having purpose in my life in addition to my family and making a difference, locally and of course in Israel. I want to thank my parents, Ted and Shirley Levine. Sorry, 1 sec. Zichrono livracha, for instilling in me the value of tikkun olam and giving back to your community. My love of Israel actually did not come from home, but from Camp Ramah in Ojai, California, and the Los Angeles Hebrew High 10-week summer trip to Israel. I hope that by example, I have passed on these values to my children, Lainey and Jake. Just to let you know that Jake and Taylor left for their conversion, I should say Taylor's conversion class, so that was okay, a good excuse to leave. And together with Lainey's husband, Yair, and Jake's soon-to-be wife, Taylor, they will continue in their own way to follow in my footsteps and enrich their lives by participating in community service. I say every day that I am blessed that they are here with me in Cincinnati, along with our 3 beautiful grandchildren, 1 brand new, 11 days, and that they are all here nearby. And of course, Max is always in my heart. And lastly, I want to thank my husband. Thank you, Eddie, for standing by me and encouraging me to do the work that I do love. Unity of community, and thank you all.
Good job. Mazel tov, so well deserved.
Thank you.
Mazel tov, Rachel, Sally, Nina, congratulations. I do want to acknowledge, by the way, Jeff Goldstein is with us tonight, and Jeff, it's wonderful that you're here to honor your parents' memory. As we conclude, this has been a tough year on all of us. I hope you are proud of the Federation and how we've responded to these challenges. I'm certainly proud of our community. Our collective has tremendous power. Thank you for your support and everything that you've done. We could not do the things we are doing right now without you. We are not alone, and we know together there is hope. Zahava Rendler said in the video, "In this darkness, there is hope to be found." Thank you all for coming. Good night, everyone.